Hello everybody. Good morning to you all. Good afternoon and good evening, depending on where you are at in the world. David, Anubis, Jory, Dustin, Mike, Be Sad Dog, Matthew, Monica, Jason, Buffalo Bill, Electron. Good morning, guys. That gets harder to do the more of you guys show up. Stony Run, good morning. Alex, welcome. James Flood, welcome to the stream, buddy. We're going after our Thunder Lizard Horn. I want to get this taken care of. I want to tackle some of these in level order today to make sure that we're not leaving anything behind, because we are going to do another Wailing Caverns run, and we can do that whenever anybody wants to put a group together. I'm fine to do it whenever. I think I'm awake enough. I've been up for a long time. I've had a workout. I ate a piece of bread for lunch, so we should be good. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. Any crazy Blizzard news that I don't know about that I should know about today? Yesterday it was that the Joyous Journey buff had been put into Wrath permanently. That was the big news yesterday. I've kind of stopped looking at Wowhead. Lowest level for Wailing Caverns is 18. Alex, I did get the gear that you sent. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to equip some of it now, because we can. Level 21, Strength Stam Spirit. And level 21, Strength Stam Spirit. Pretty awesome. I like that you get Spirit on it, you know, for the health regen. Looking good. The gloves are going to be level 22. So, a little bit to wait on those. Let's vendor everything that we have. Wowhead has a lot of misinformation. Yeah, I don't know if it's that.
Oh.
I don't usually see, when I look, I see nothing for Classic. And then, like, when I don't look, you guys come in and there's news. So I figure, like, the less I look, the more likely there will be exciting news. It's not really, like, the quality of their content that I'm avoiding it. It's just that every time I look, there's nothing there to see. But if I ignore it for a while, then, like, things happen. I don't need this. I don't need... Oh, yeah, I also, we bought this at the end of the stream yesterday, and I've equipped it. So, previously, we had the Axe of Augermar, 47 top end, 11.8, 3 strength, and now we're at 51 top end, 17.5, and 7 strength, so... Should be better. It was almost 3 golds. But yeah, should be good. I'm saving those. I'm selling everything else. I need to keep a hold of some of the meat for, yeah, I need the lion tusk and I need plain strider kidneys. Doesn't look like I can sell them anyway. And I need to hit up a first aid trainer eventually to learn a wool bandage. Prathan, you need to learn how to tank sometime? You don't have to, but it's a good skill to have. It gets you into more groups, you know. The Cat's Eye Emerald, should probably have turned that in. Where does that turn in? I don't even know. Huh. Alright, this looks pretty good.
We shall meet again.
But yeah, whenever somebody wants to get a Wailing Caverns group together, I'm gonna post in guild chat as well. It's Ratchet for the eye? Okay, yeah, I should have probably gone there first and turned in. Oh well, let's start hunting for our Thunder Lizard Horn. You know, I never knew I could mouse wheel in Questie. Did you guys know that you can mouse wheel in Questie? Because I just did it by accident, and it's the first time I realized in almost 2 years of using it now that you can mouse wheel down and up if you hover over Questie. Pretty amazing. Who knew? I'll let guild know that we just need heals and DPS, Alex. It doesn't have to happen immediately. It would be cool if I can at least complete this one first, anyway, so we have some time. Anubis, I'm pretty sure that's either referring to like how trading works in retail or how it works in Wrath of the Lich King. I don't think you have any of that functionality in Classic Era. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a great deal of things, but I'm pretty sure on this one. Pretty sure. Jason, you enjoyed getting back into Wrath yesterday, but you like Wrath a lot. To be fair, like you are a big fan of Wrath, so that makes sense. At least historically, you seem to have been. Camping King, good morning and good afternoon to you. Thanks for being here. It is hard for me to get excited about Wrath because I do feel like it's at the very end of its life cycle. It shouldn't matter as much to me, but it kind of does. I don't want to work on the bristleback quillboar tusk yet. I really just want to be hunting for thunder lizards. So I'm going to try to avoid the bulk of these guys. Do I like pro football? Only if you are talking about the NFL. There's different people in different parts of the world in chat, so... and I don't dislike other sports, but yeah, I do watch every NFL game that I can. And I'm very much looking forward to the start of the season this Thursday. Chiefs versus Lions. Anubis says, go Cowboys. Then yes, camping, I do. Yeah. Only within the last 4 years. It's been the last 4 or 5 years. I got into the NFL when we lived in Missouri. My wife got into it first, and I was like, nah, I'm never gonna watch that. But then I started watching it, and I was like, oh, it's like a turn-based, like phase-based game. I like the rules. I like how it's like offense, defense, like the different phases, and the different positions. You know, it's like they have different abilities, different things they can do. It's very reminiscent of like a tactical video game to me. So I very much enjoy it. Is the US Open golf? Is that what the US Open is? I think I could golf. I just don't think I could ever watch other people golf. Golfing seems like it would be like a really relaxing activity to do if I had a bunch of time to waste. Oh, tennis. US Open is tennis. I've never watched tennis either. That tennis also strikes me as something like I would love to play tennis, but I don't know if I would enjoy watching it. Oh, we got the item already. That was really fast. I thought it was going to have like a bad drop rate. And then they both turn in back in Ratchet. Yeah, let's hop a flight. I don't really want to do anything else down here. I just wanted to get that one item. Oh, they call the US Open for golf too. It's called the same thing. Well, isn't that confusing? That'd be like having a Super Bowl for NFL and a Super Bowl for the MLB. Like, it would be confusing to people, you know? Alex, yeah, the gear score thing is awful. Yeah, I remember how hard it was for me to like even get into like a Nax run, let alone like Ulduar runs at first. What happened to me is I got really lucky, and I got carried through 2 different Nax runs, like basically carried. I was healing, so I wasn't really being carried. What I mean by carried is that they invited me despite my gear score, and so I was able to get a bunch of pieces that nobody needed. And that was the only reason I was even able to do like Heroic Plus or Heroic Plus Plus, was that I basically got pulled along through a couple of really successful Nax runs. and a partially successful Ulduar.
Peace, friend.
But like, if you don't have that experience and people are looking at your gear score, like, you're never gonna get a group. You know, you're not even gonna get a group for like heroics. They're not even gonna invite you for heroic plus. And I'm really hoping they do the right thing, and when they add LFD to the game, I hope we can automatically queue for heroic plus and heroic plus and heroic plus. If they put LFD in the game and they still make you form a group manually for heroic plus, then they're killing the game type. Because people are not going to have the gear score that others would want them to have. But if you have an automated system check for the lowest common possible gear score, it's going to make the content a lot more accessible to a lot of people. So we'll see what they do. I have zero faith in them to do the right thing. But we'll see. They added the heroic plus to the current tool, and it wasn't in the current tool originally. It wasn't there. You had to leave a note for yourself, stating that you wanted to do a Titan rune. You'd get into runs, and like half of you would want to do one, half of you would want to do regular heroic. But they added it to the current tool, and I'm just hoping that they're not stupid and that they're going to actually launch the LFD cross realm with those options. Because if they don't, then they've killed their game type and they're idiots. Golf is like NASCAR. I'll leave it at that. Well, I mean, in the sense that it's really boring to watch, maybe. My dad used to love watching NASCAR. I just never understood. It felt like you were just watching people go in circles waiting for something bad to happen. You know? I mean, David, at this point, when ICC comes out, they are going to be at plus. So it's not even like a big exaggeration. And that's what the player base calls it. You know, it's like, yeah, we are gonna, if they do Ruby Sanctum as a different patch, then we'll be at heroic plus. That's how many pluses we'll be if they do Ruby Sanctum as a fourth as another patch. We'll be so many pluses deep. So many pluses. Yeah, Monica, I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, I enjoyed the journey a lot more as well. I like doing endgame stuff if I have a good guild and we're just having fun. But yeah, I really like versions of the game where everything you do matters from level 1. I like games where everything you do matters from level 1. not games where like nothing you do really matters until you hit max level. And eventually that is the game that WoW became. Eventually WoW became the game where nothing you do really matters until you hit max level. There were some people who always treated it that way. I swear, my friend back in 2005, he would tell me, oh, the real game starts at endgame. And all there was to do was like stupid 40-man raids that I was not interested in at all. And I would look at him and be like, I don't know, man, like I'm having a good time not being at endgame. Maybe something's wrong with you.
Keep it real.
So there have always been people who have felt that the real game starts at endgame, even back in 2004, as stupid as that is. Richard, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Wrath still has a decent journey. And, like, Cataclysm has a journey, and it has a journey in the sense that since they revamped all of the starting zones, you get to have a different journey. Now it's not as big of a journey. And then the weird thing that happens when you level through Cataclysm, and I wish they would change this, you have to still go through Burning Crusade in Northrend. I really wish that with the Cataclysm they kind of made it so that there were zones that you could level through in the old world where you didn't have to go back in time and go do Outland and then go back in time and then go do Wrath. It just felt so weird to me always.
Farewell.
It felt so much weirder after the revamp. You know, before the revamp it makes sense. You start at point A in time, you progress through Vanilla, you go into Burning Crusade, and then you go into Northrend. It made sense.
For the Horde.
But after the Cataclysm, it's like you start in the future to go back into the past, and like immediately it felt bad. I remember it felt bad immediately. I wish they added just a couple new zones, like to where you could just stay in the old world and you level to 85 or whatever. That would have been a lot more enjoyable. Alright, so that stuff is turned in. That's good. Okay, to see, I don't have a big interest. I have zero interest in raiding in hardcore. And I have only a little bit of interest about raiding in vanilla in general. I think if I raid, I would like to raid with you guys in the season. This season of Mastery 2 or whatever it is. I'd like to see it then. That being said, I'm not a fan of 40 mana raids. So, like, we can see it. I'll probably do it a couple times. It's not going to be a thing where, like, I do the raid every week. It's going to be a thing where I do the raid once or twice to see it, and then that's it. What can we do here? Telescopic lens. Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's try to go do this stuff. Do I want to do Guns of Northwatch? No, not really. No, not really. Season of Mastery is not going to be hardcore. No, Season of Mastery 2 is just going to be some kind of Season of WoW. We don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. Yeah, they haven't told us anything yet about what it's actually going to be like. Hardcore Wrath would be cool, but there's no interest in it. I don't know why. Maybe one day there will be. Yeah. Maybe one day there will be. I mean, I would play it if there were a dedicated server. You think it'd be basically harmless for Blizz to like have more options like that, even if they didn't feel like lots of people were gonna play. Think about how during Burning Crusade, basically all of the vanilla realms were dead. If you logged into a vanilla realm, any vanilla realm during Burning Crusade, nothing was happening. They were all low pop, nobody was playing. It was a bunch of dead characters on dead servers. And then suddenly there was hardcore. And then suddenly people were playing like vanilla non-hardcore too, and it was all popping off. And it was popping off because they had the option to, because the option was there, people could do it. And so I don't know what the harm would be in saying, hey, here's a hardcore BC server. And oh look, here's a hardcore Wrath server. You guys like that? No? Yeah? No? Yeah? And then the people who like it can go play on it. And the people who don't can go do something else. Because my thing with hardcore is like, I don't want to do hardcore anywhere where not everyone's doing it. So much of the interest in hardcore is like the situations we get into with other players where it's life or death for everybody. And that's so much of the interest for me. So I couldn't play hardcore like with the add-on on a server where like nobody was doing it. It would hold no joy for me. It wouldn't be fun. But if it was a dedicated server, yeah, sure. I would check out hardcore on different versions of the game, not retail. No, but like Wrath and BC, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people would do BC for sure. I think a lot of people who are doing vanilla would love to have a BC to play. You know, Blizzard can never give us BC servers because listen to this. If BC servers got really popular, they'd have to admit how stupid they were for not keeping some BC servers around initially at the launch of Wrath, you know? So that's why I don't think we'll ever get a BC server, because if it does pop off, which I think it would, then Blizzard would have to be like, oh yeah, we were wrong, and they don't do that. They don't do that. That's what sucks. Yeah, true, Jason, big true. They wouldn't have to because they actually don't communicate anyway. But they'd have to feel wrong. Yeah, you're right, they would never have to admit anything because they don't. They don't even tell you when they make good changes to the game half the time. Because yeah, making a good change to the game has to be, that's the same to them as admitting that they got it wrong the first time. So even when they fix stuff like the named guy respawn rate, they don't communicate it because communicating it would be admitting that they got it wrong the first time, and they can't do that. It's like and the guard has changed so many times. It must be like a higher level corporate initiative. Sometimes like corporations have these rules. And one of the biggest rules a corporation has is like not to say anything that could undermine the integrity of the corporation. And part of that somehow is don't ever admit that we made a mistake. That's a lot of corporations. That's like one of the highest rules Sometimes it's spoken, sometimes it's unspoken. But it's one of the biggest rules of most corporations is never put us in a position where we have to admit that we were wrong about anything we did. Which is the stupidest effing rule you could have. Especially when you're largely client-facing. And when you're public-facing. Like, the best thing you can do when you're public-facing is, like, openly and blatantly admit, hey, we done effed up, we fixed it, now look at that. But they don't get that. It's like they're playing from the 80s corporation rulebook, you know? Yeah, they're playing from the 80s corporation rulebook. They're not allowed to say anything that would possibly indicate any wrongdoing. It's nuts. Alright, we got the items. That's really all I want to do here. We don't have anything else. Let's, well, we could come over here and do the raptor horns, I guess. We'll feel it out. We should be pretty high level compared to those guys. But we'll go feel it out and see. I saw on Asmon's YouTube channel, he has something where like Mike Ybarra said something about him and he was like responding to it. I'm afraid to watch it because I already hate Mike Ybarra. I already think he's a huge douche canoe. and I like Asmon, so I've been looking at this video. It's like 40 minutes long. And I'm like, do I want to watch this? I already hate this guy so much. What could he have said about Asmon? I already hate him so much. So I haven't watched it. I'm gonna have to be in like a particular mood to check it out. Ybarra does seem like the guy that if anyone were to ever just shove his foot right into his mouth, it would be him. Yeah, if anyone's ever gonna like say something drastically effing stupid or do something really stupid, I think it's gonna be that guy. I think eventually he's gonna put his big dumb foot right in his big dumb mouth and be unable to pull it out. Remember when there was a female co-leader of Blizzard and she was like, nah, F this, I'm out, and she peaced out? It was probably partially because of that guy. And part of it was probably that he probably made like twice as much as she did. But part of it was probably because he's a big douche nozzle. And she didn't want anything to do with it. And then you'd think, well, maybe they'd find someone else to do a co-leadership with, and it was like, no, they didn't, it's just him now. She was a token. I don't know. I mean, no, as a human being, she was a human being. They might have been trying to use her in that way, but that's not what she is, you know. She was a person who was probably really passionate and happy to, like, go into that role. Especially from what I know of her background with other game studios. But yeah, maybe they tried to use her that way. She might have felt that way because of how, like, Dude was. Yeah, she had the integrity to leave. It's almost like maybe you should have like the strength to stay. Maybe if you're being used in that way, you should have the strength to stay, to let it come to light, and then to still make things better. You could wish that could be possible. You know, I get it, like why people get forced out of jobs and stuff, but sometimes you wish that there was just the fortitude to stay until all the bad stuff comes to light, and then other people get forced out. But I understand that it doesn't often work that way. No, you can't blame her for it. It's easy to create a miserable working environment for people. Okay, these guys are level 18. I mean, I feel okay. I feel okay about this. But I am gonna focus up for a minute. We have retaliation if I feel like we absolutely need it. Like in a hyperspawn situation, we have retaliation and we have sticky glue. It's not her job to fix stupid. Nah, unfortunately, it's nobody's job to fix stupid, and that's why stupid doesn't get fixed. Yep, that's why it doesn't get fixed, because it's not anybody's job to do that, but at some point, like, someone has to, like, do it, you know? A boom! That was an easy one. That was an easy one. I got to do it too. My banhammer's loose today. Loosey goosey. That should probably be like reported for higher than what I did. Let's go to report. Do we do child abuse? Do we do hate speech? Harassment? Misinformation. Let's do misinformation. I think that's fine. It's not really harassment or bullying. It's not really hate speech. It's not child abuse. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just report that whole account a little bit more than just banning them. I feel like they deserve that. There we go. I don't often like snitch to YouTube, but for stuff like that I will. Yeah, if you're impersonating someone in my family or you're saying anything about my family, I will effing report you to YouTube, and they're probably not going to do anything, but you know, one could hope. One could hope. Maybe they give you a little warning, a sternly worded warning. I don't know. They probably don't do squat about it, you know. It's gonna be one of those days. A boom! I can do this because, like, this is really easy. So, like, if you're trying to distract me, like, you're distracting, but, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because eventually you keep doing this and YouTube will investigate your IP. Apparently, I probably gotta get some more mods, too. It might be time for, like, a wave of promotions to moderator. It's such a funny and pointless way to, like, try to troll somebody. I think that when people do that, they think they're being very original. You know? Let's see. Let's try something else. Let's do harassment. This is harassing me. There we go. Anybody else? Any other dumb fucks out there? Let's get it out of the way right now. Let's get it out of the way now. Come on, you know you guys are incited to do more. Come on, I know you're there. Come on, you got me. My blood pressure's up. Come on out now, the woodwork. Because I'm not going to put myself in any dangerous spots right now, so... You might as well try now. What talents are we going with? We're going full arms. Yeah, we're going full arms for now. That's what we got going. Oh, yeah, we're going deep wounds. We're going impale. We're going two-hand spec. The thing I don't like about arms tree is I don't like having to pick a weapon spec. Because then, like, if you get a sword or a mace, but you're spec'd into axes, then you either have to respec, which costs money, or you just have to deal with it, which sucks. So that's really the only thing I don't like about arm spec. I might not grab any of the weapon specs, and I might focus on other stuff. And see how that goes. Agent Dad, did I see the new Retail WoW cinematic? No, absolutely not. I did not. I didn't see it. Nah, I'm like... I'm interested in the direction that they take WoW in retail, but I'm not really interested in like the moment by moment cinematics, because unfortunately they remind me too much of Disney movies, and not the good ones. I heard that it's getting a little better, but it's having to listen to like Iridicron and having to listen to the Electric Dragon lady, like having to listen to their like faux villain voices like for a bunch of cutscenes, like it really put me off giving a crap about like the minute by minute cutscenes and stuff like that. I'm interested to see like what happens with the Void and what they do, you know, with the Azeroth World Soul. I'm interested in the broad strokes of the picture. I just don't care anymore about the minute by minute characters that are involved, you know? Yeah, people like them, they say they're good. I don't care about the characters. I don't care about Alexstrasza. I don't care about the Incarnates. Yeah, I just don't really care. I want to see what happens to Azeroth, you know? I want to see what happens between the Void and the Titans. But as far as like the minute by minute storytelling, I don't like it. They've gotten a lot better with how they frame their cutscenes and stuff like that, but it's just not for me anymore. People care about the story. Yeah, tons of people care about the lore and the story. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, lots of people care. I used to care a lot more. I used to care a lot about the lore. I guess I've always cared more about the lore than I have about the moment-to-moment stories. We're gonna thread the needle here. Yeah, I care about the lore. It's fine. If you care about the story, that's awesome. I'm glad that people can get into it. I just can't. None of the characters feel like Warcraft characters to me anymore. Even people like Khadgar. Like, Khadgar had such a small role so far. Like, maybe he'll do more. I was like, yeah, Khadgar. I love Khadgar. One of my favorite characters. Oh, he's just hanging out in the Azure Span or whatever. Like, not really doing a whole lot. That's cool. What a waste of like a good WoW character. And it's because they don't know how to write the new people at Blizzard. Yeah, they don't know how to write the old characters convincingly. You know, so a lot of times now I feel like now they're finally learning to stay away from the established characters because they know they don't know how to write them. Because all they can really write are Disney characters. So I really wish they would have just left Khadgar alone if they weren't going to use him a lot, if they weren't going to do anything really cool with him. If he wasn't going to be a central focus of the narrative, I really wish they'd have left him out of it because he was one of my favorite characters before they ruined him, you know. It's interesting that you can be into that you can have been around for War 1 and still like really care about the lore and the story, because like it's nothing, it's not even close to being anything approximating Warcraft anymore. Yeah. World of Rainbow Craft. It's just all like soft, squishy. They went from only having big, empty cinematic moments to having like kind of vacuous, not well-written, sentimental moments. They went from like one end of bad to another end of bad. It used to be you in like Shadowlands, you just get a big cutscene when something big and stupid happens, like the Sylvanas Dragon Ball Z fight with Tyrande. And so they went from that to then now they just have these conversation pieces where the characters have these talks. And I think that they think it's really well written, and some of it is okay, but it's not that great as a conveyance of a story that they want me to care about in Warcraft. It would be good in a game that wasn't Warcraft, but none of it feels like Warcraft to me, so I just bounce off of it. Yeah, that's the other problem, like Shadow said, like a lot of times, like a lot of the story, for a long time, a lot of the story has been hidden behind raid bosses. So if you're not like clearing the campaign, clearing all the raid bosses, clearing all the additional content, like you can't even follow the story unless you're going to go watch a Noble video. It's been that way for a long time. I hope maybe one day I'll care about the story being told in retail again, but for right now, I'm waiting to see what happens with like the world building, you know? The world building aspect is really the only part that I care about. Do I think Chris Metzen will help with the story since he's back? Is he back at Blizz? Like, is he? It'd be sad if he was an employee of Blizzard Entertainment again. I hope he's there in a consulting faculty. I hope he's not like an employee of Activision Blizzard. If Chris Metzen is an employee of Activision Blizzard, no, he's not going to be able to do anything to change anything. Because as an employee, he's subject to the same like direction and the same nonsense that everybody else is. But if they're bringing him on as a consultant, or they're allowing him to have like free reign of stuff, that's the only way that he could help. And like, he's not Jesus. He can't save the whole franchise on his own. If it was Metzen and like some of the old guard, and they were given free reign to fix the game, then yeah. But let's be real, they're not giving him free reign to fix the game. Whatever his capacity is, they're not like, hey Chris, well good, glad to have you back. Go ahead and run with it, buddy. They're not. That's not what's happening. That's not what's gonna happen. And it would take more than just him. He's only one guy. Yeah, it would take a bunch of the old guard, or a bunch of just like people who actually know about and love World of Warcraft. They'd have to fire all the 27-year-old corporate employees, and they'd have to restaff with like people of a different generation, or just people in general who are like bigger fans and bigger like Warcraft nerds. JK Barber, thank you for the membership, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't even know why he would want to go back at this point and do anything. I get that, like... I get that he probably still cares, you know? He probably still cares about the game. But he has to understand the way the wind is blowing, that, like, he's not going to be able to go back and fix it on his own.
Hurry back!
Because they're not just going to let him do what he wants. That's the problem.
Glad I could help! Keep it real.
What is smart drinks? Oh, okay. I don't know what this is.
Hurry back!
Deep moss spider eggs is stone talon.
Glad I could
Blue
help.
leaf tubers, razorfen crawl. Okay.
Hurry back!
The Colonel, they can keep the 27-year-olds if they love Warcraft. And if they know what Warcraft is. Unfortunately, a lot of the people working at Blizzard Entertainment are generic corporate employees who would ply their trade at Coca-Cola as soon as they would ply their trade at Activision Blizzard. Whether it's art, or level design, or marketing, or writing. Like, they don't give a shit. Because they're just corporate employees, for the most part, who are they just want to pad their resume. Because in a couple of years, they want the next better job. They don't want to be around a game for 5, 7, 10 years. A lot of the people who work at corporations are simply trying to progress their career. And the way you progress your career is not by staying in one place for too long. In fact, a lot of times when you work at a corporation and you stay in one role, or you stay with one team, or you stay at one company for too long, people see that as stagnating. They will say that you are a person that lacks drive, that lacks motivation, that lacks ambition, and that will have you held back in corporate life. And so that's the reality of it. Is that a lot of it is just like artists, level designers, coders. They don't necessarily give a shit about WoW. Most of them don't play the games they work on. We learned that with the Diablo 4 hands-on with the devs who had never played the game. One of them was an artist. She said she'd rather go on nature walks than play Diablo 4. But the other was a level designer who designed levels for Diablo 4 but had never played the game. And if that's a problem in Diablo 4, it's a problem in World of Warcraft too. And those are the people they need to fire. And those are mostly the younger people. Like, because that's mostly who they employ. Yeah. It just is. Questie shows a handshake symbol for group quest, does it? I haven't noticed that either. Yeah, 15,000 devs, maybe a couple hundred of them actually have a deep, well, not even history. I don't want them to have a history with the game. They need history too. I want them to have a relationship with the game. Even if they only started playing the game 4 years ago, I want them to be players and enjoyers and enthusiasts of the game. I want them to have some history with it, sure. But like, it doesn't have to be that they started playing in Warcraft 3. It doesn't have to be that they were there on day one of like WoW launch beta night. But like, I want them to be people who have a fondness for, a love of, and a relationship with the game.
Keep it quick, kid.
I want them to be people
ain't got
that
all
play
day.
every week, and not people who are full of excuses as to why they can't play all the time. And that's not how things are right now. No, if you have purple hair, they're gonna put you in. They're gonna put you in a live stream. No, if you got purple hair, you're not fired. They're gonna put you in a live stream, and they're gonna use you to sell an idea to the masses that, you know, we are an employer who employs everybody. We are open-minded, but we don't necessarily employ people who play the game for some reason. But look, purple hair. It's great. You're in, right? You're bought in. That's what they do. Yeah. If you have purple hair, you're in, and in fact, we're gonna put you on Twitch and YouTube in front of everybody until it turns out that you're just an artist. You don't actually play video games, but you work for a video game company. Kinda weird. Diversity over quality. In some extent, yeah, yes. Especially because of all the shit that they took a couple years ago. Now they have to be that way. Now they have to have diversity over quality. And by quality, I mean just, I want the quality to be inherent in the idea that the employees play and love the games. That's the quality that I want. I want them to be people who play and love the game. I don't give a shit what they look like. I don't care if they like nature walks. I don't care. But what I do care about is that they love the game and play the game. They understand the game, and they know the trials and tribulations that happen when you play the game. And right now that isn't the case, which sucks. Alright, what do we want to do now? Harpy rings. That's way up to the north. We could do that. Ekiyaki we still have to get. We do have to do this kind of in level order. Let's fly back to the crossroads. We'll turn in the stolen silver, and we will head up to the northwest. But yeah, I mean, how did we get on this? God, I'm getting so many YouTube comments about how negative the streams are.
What's up?
Camping King, you wish they would make Classic free? I wish they would charge me for Classic, and then I wish they would make more content for it. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I want them to charge me $60 for Classic, and a sub fee. And I want it to be separate from the retail sub fee. And then I want them to make a crap ton of new content for the game, but I want it to be Classic still. I mean, that's never going to happen, because the people who made Classic don't exist anymore. And so, like, no other team of devs could actually make Classic content that felt Classic, because they're simply not the same people and they're not even close. But I would like to pay money more than I do now to play Classic in a world where they would continue to make content and patches and expansions. And I don't want the leveling to go up, and I just wanted to take a different route. Am I going to put up another vid of the Human Rogue today? Yeah, I should be able to get one out shortly after the stream ends. It's publishing in Shotcut right now, and on my break I should be able to upload it to YouTube, and then by the end of the stream I should be able to hit live on it pretty soon after that. Yeah, I'm trying to make it so that, like, after the stream ends, like, the Alliance video will go up for the day. We'll see how long I can keep that up. The good news, she's still alive. Spoiler alert, she's not dead yet. the community would be furious if they had to pay $60 for Classic. Not if they were like, hey, listen, we're taking Classic into a new era. And to do that, we need your help. Here's all the cool shit that we have planned. Here's a trailer. Here's some zone previews. You want this cool shit? Pay us some money. I don't think that people will be pissed. $60 might be a lot. maybe it's $39.99. But for like, I'm talking about expansion level of new content. You know? And I don't think that would tick people off. I think you would probably still get the base game with your sub. You'd still get the 1 to 60 with your sub, the base game, as it is right now. But then if you want the expansion, you want a bunch of new Classic, then you pay. And until people are okay with that, you're never going to get the Classic Plus stuff that you want.
Stay away from the voodoo.
Well, then you find out it was crap. Well, I mean, that happens with every other WoW expansion anyway. What's the difference? I mean, we paid for Shadowlands and found out that was crap. We paid for BFA and found out that was crap, but people are still playing the game. I don't know how it would be different. There are going to be people who pay for it and say, man, this is crap. There are going to be people that pay for it and say, this is crap, but they keep playing it. And there are going to be people that pay for it and say, I really like this. I'm sucked in. It's going to be the same no matter what. You're never going to get like unanimous agreement that like the amount of money someone paid for something is worth it across the board. But yeah, that's just kind of how it is. Yeah, I think a lot of people, if they were going to do a new expansion for Classic and they were going to take it in a totally different direction than we've ever seen before, and they were going to keep it Classic, I think a lot of people would be super excited for that, especially if they did it soon. Because like Classic hype is really high right now, and the thing about hype is that it doesn't stay high forever, and things come in cycles, and things come and go. So if they were gonna do some stuff like that, you'd think they'd already be working on it, but they're not. You know, they're doing the seasonal thing, and they wanna keep pushing the hype cycle with seasonal content. I don't know how long that'll last or how far it'll get them. I did level up. At some point we leveled, guys. Great, thank you. Deep Wounds 3, and then I also have a piece of gear to equip. I also have no inventory space, so like that's cool too. What am I looking for? No. Oh, here we go. Level 22, Strength Stamp Spirit Gloves. Thanks again, Alex. Yeah, exactly, David. I paid a crap ton of money for Diablo 4. So much money to play it on night 1, minute 1. And I hated it. And it's just like, that's just how it is. You know? I paid a bunch of money for a game that I thought I might like. I played the game for like a handful of hours and bounced off every single part of it. And I don't get to have my money back. What I know now is that I am not going to pay for Diablo 5. And that's it. Owl Hatch, Wailing Caverns has not gone out yet. Nope, I think we're still waiting. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm just waiting to get a group invite. I've thrown it out there that I'm ready to do it whenever. And either we'll have enough people on and motivated to put it together, or we won't. Because I don't want to put it together myself. And I don't want to invite pugs myself, especially on this character, because if I invite pugs, then we have a chance that we will get a troll from chat who will F up our run. So, like, I don't care if we have pugs. Pugs are great. I love pugs. Pugs are an opportunity to meet new people and to bring new people into the guild. But I'm not going to be the one that puts the group together and invites said pugs. So, if we need to pug a healer, that's cool. If we need to pug DPS, that's fine. I'm fine with any of it. I'm just not going to put the group together myself and do that. Because we've already had some chat trolls today. And eventually we're going to get trolled in a dungeon if we do it with me doing the invites. We've got something. Speak of the devils. We've got stuff going on. There we go. That's our beginning group. We got 4 people. Redfire, I'm good this morning. The YouTube comments will reflect that I'm a very negative person this morning, but I feel good about all of it. I typically feel good whenever I say honest things, regardless of the sentiment. I could typically feel good when I'm just saying honest things, which is what I usually do, like 99.9% of the time. It's just that sometimes like honest things seem negative to people who don't agree with them. And then I get essays in the YouTube comments about my negativity. It's funny because like one person was like, there might be something deeper going on with you, Robert, if you feel these things. Like, oh, really? There might be something deeper going on with a 40-year-old human being besides these. Oh, okay. That's weird. I never would have thought that deeper things would be going on in my emotional strata. Yeah, we should do a poll at some point, like who would pay money for Classic Plus? Real Classic Plus, not what they did to Wrath where they put in a new currency and they made dungeons harder for healers, but like actual full expansion. We're going to the Black Empire for some reason. Like full-on expansion content, but that keeps it classic. That doesn't do a bunch of class revamps. That doesn't add a bunch of ability bloat. That doesn't put a bolt-on system in that we're gonna flush down the toilet next time around. But like a straight up, full of content, leveling, dungeons, loot, raids, classic expansion. It's $39.99 USD. It's $39.99 USD. Yep. And no, you don't get a level boost with it. You're not getting a level boost. There's no level boost for sale here. You can't upgrade into a level boost. You're not gonna get a mount. You're not gonna get a mount in retail for purchasing it. You're not gonna get any tendies on the trading post in retail for purchasing. You're just gonna pay $39.99, and you're gonna get a Classic Plus expansion. It would be classic. It'd be the most classic stuff you could imagine. Yeah, there'd be none of the. It wouldn't turn into a Disney movie. There'd be no cutscenes. We would keep playing classic, but we'd get to see let's say we get to see 7 new zones, and like 6 new dungeons and 3 new raids. Maybe we get low res. Maybe we get new races, like low res races. Maybe we get like Blood Elf and Draenei, but low res, to match the style, and we get like the Worgen and the Goblins, but low res. So maybe we get new like races in low res. No pre-order. There's no pre-order. There's no early access period like with Starfield. Shadow, that's what the seasons are kind of like. They don't do the progression like you're talking about, like the way EverQuest does. I think they just like open up all the content at once. But that's kind of what I think that's what they're doing with the seasonal content for Classic. Is like they're gonna do. It's probably gonna be a year-long season because apparently it takes a year to level in Classic WoW, I guess. So it'll probably be a year-long season like Season of Mastery was, and you know there will be like some changes and stuff. But I don't know like how many cool things they're gonna do with the season. That's my only worry. My worry is that the season is gonna be really lame, and it's gonna be an XP buff, and it's gonna be lame, and that's all they're gonna do. They promise that it's not gonna be lame, but if someone has to promise you a thing's not gonna be lame, what are the odds of it not being lame? You know what I mean? Like, why would you have to promise me this? Why wouldn't it just be a given? They have to promise you that because Season of Mastery was so bad. So it's hard to believe they're gonna do it again, but do it the right way. It's the same people working on it, so it's really hard to imagine. Low res Worgen, yeah, I'd love to have the Worgen and the Blood Elves and the Draenei, and I'd love to have them just at low res. You know, or just like give me some other new races, whatever. Like make some new races, but make sure that it matches the look. I want new character customizations too, like new hairstyles, new skin colors, stuff like that. That's like the icing on the cake. No flying. Listen, flying never comes into the game. Flying never comes into the game. We don't fly. We're not flying anywhere. We're not flying anywhere. Let me repeat. We're not flying anywhere. We're gonna actually have to see the zones, like on the ground, and actually look at them and fight through them. Imagine having to look at them and fight through them. What kind of world would that be? No 40-man raids. No. Okay. There are 40-man raids, but there will also be 10-man options for the raids. I guess like systematically, the biggest change I would make to Classic was I want there to be smaller options for the raid sizes. 40-man raids are not fun to me. I feel like in a 40-man raid, 15 people can die. 15 people can die basically right away. And it's not going to affect the outcome of the raid if the rest of the people actually know what they're doing. And I don't really like content like that. I like 10-man stuff because like in the 10-man, you need all 10 people to know basically what they're doing or to be learning the fight or to be trying their hardest. And in a 40-man fight, somebody can just get themselves killed right away, AFK tacos, and come back to get loot. Not that people do that, but it would be entirely possible to do it. 20 tops, sure, I'll give you 20. Some of you guys like bigger raid sizes, I get it. Just give me options. Give me 40, 20, 10. 40, 20, 10. I don't want normal, heroic, mythic BS. Make it hard. Make it one difficulty. But give me 10, 20, 40. And make it hard. Yeah, make it hard, but make it discernible. Anubis flying... nobody said flying ruined the game. I said I don't want to fly. I want to see the zones and see the monsters and have to fight my way through. Flying didn't necessarily ruin the game. What it did was it took a big chunk of immersion away from the journey. It took a big chunk of immersion away from the journey. I'm fine with having more flight points. You want to get from town to town faster? I totally understand. Goldshire can have a flight point. I get it. But when I don't want to mount up here and drop down over here to get a named guy. I want to have to fight through these guys. I want it to feel like a game where I'm playing through a world on my character and not like dragon hopping all over the place to selectively get targets. I think that's lame. I don't think it lends to immersion. And I don't personally find it enjoyable to fly around like that. That's all. Yeah, like there are other things that could ruin the game, but like flying didn't ruin the game. It's just something I don't want to see in Classic, that's all. It doesn't have a place in Classic. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Classic Plus, fake Classic Plus content, and how I don't want to see flying in it at any point in time. That's all. Nothing about it ruining the game. You shouldn't take what somebody says and then like kind of put words in their mouth, you know? Which is kind of what you did there. There can be more flight points. Like, I understand that people want to get around faster to where the quests are at, so I'm willing to compromise and say like we should have more flight points in Classic. But I don't think flying has a place. We can already get we can get the ground mounts that go super fast. You know, whatever the epic level riding is, eventually you'll be able to afford that. Are we waiting on me, guys? Are we waiting on me? I feel like we're probably kind of mostly maybe waiting on me. Where is everybody? Here. We're waiting on me. Okay. Let me get back to Crossroads, and I'll vendor everything, and then I'll get going. Well, you said how did it ruin the game, but I wasn't talking about ruining the game, so that's how I interpreted it. When I'm talking about, like, I don't want it in Classic Plus, but then you asked how it ruined the game, I look up and I see that, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean I didn't say it ruined the game? Does that make sense, man? Like, that's what I mean. I was talking about how I absolutely don't want it in Classic Plus, and I looked up and you said, I don't see how flying ruined the game. Maybe you're responding to somebody else in chat, I don't know. I have selective vision sometimes. There you go. Fair enough. Now I've explained my point of view, you've explained your point of view, and we're good. That helps, yeah. If you're responding to someone who's not me in my chat, like, if you are responding directly and only to someone who types something, it does help to add them. Because then I see it and I ignore it. I see what you said and I ignore it because I know you're having a conversation with that person and you're not misinterpreting what I said. When I look up and saw that, it was like you were misinterpreting what I had said, which I didn't want to be the case. So I had to correct it based on what I saw. Sorry, man.
Or the Horde!
Yeah, with so many people in chat, you know, like, especially for me, like, having to read everything is tough. So with so many people in chat, if someone was like, flying ruined the game, and you're like, no, it didn't do that, then you just at them. And then I don't have a chance to misunderstand. And other people won't jump on it either. Alright, let's sell everything. Ah, that's good. What are all these shirts? Why do I have 8 deckhand shirts? Where am I? Oh, from the pirates? I don't need all these deckhand shirts. Shadow said it ruined the game. See? There you go. There's the guy who thinks it ruined the game. It would be low down on my list of things that could have ruined the game. Mythic Plus ruined the game. There we go. That's all. But ultimately, like, if anybody ruined the game, unfortunately, it's the developers and Activision Blizzard. Like, they are ultimately responsible for the stewardship of the game. So it's hard to boil down to any one thing. And the game's not ruined for everybody. That's the other thing to keep in mind. Like, when someone says that they ruined the game, more accurately what the person means is they ruined the game for me. That's really what we mean when someone says, like, this thing ruined the game. It's probably a lot more accurate to say that it ruined the game for that person, you know? Mythic Plus ruined the game for me because I used to really love 5-man content. I used to really love challenging 5-man content. So for me, Mythic Plus kind of ruined the game. I used to like being able to raid log. I used to like being able to raid log once I was maxed out. I'd raid log and I'd roll alts. That was how I enjoyed the game. So for me, Legion and the infinite AP grind ruined the game. Because I couldn't raid log anymore. And I didn't have time for alts because I had to farm AP any moment that I could actually get on the game. So yeah, so I have a list of things that for me, X, Y, and Z ruined the game. But for other people, they have a different list. Shadow thinks flying ruined the game. It's fine. There are different things that happen in the game, and anybody who's been around long enough has encountered things in the game that have put them off of later versions of the game. But I think for each of us, the list is sometimes a little bit different. And we're all allowed to have our opinions. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. You're just not allowed to have your opinion be the only correct thing. Because that's not how opinions work. But yeah, we all have a list of things that we don't like, and our emotional reaction is blah, ruined the game. It is okay to feel that way. And then for the people who love the game today, for the people who are playing Dragonflight right now, nothing ruined the game. For the 400 people that play Dragonflight every day, the game is perfect. It's impeccable. It's amazing. Nothing ever ruined it. They're still able to get on and enjoy it as they always have. And so for those 400 people, like, the game's not ruined by anything. The game's in the best state that it's ever been in. And those people certainly exist. And their opinions are valid too. Well, yeah, anytime that you're not enjoying something but you're still supporting it monetarily, you are partially responsible for what's going on. But the tough thing is, like I said, I think for a lot of people, it's certain parts of the game that they don't like. It's like it's not that they don't like any aspect of it. It's just that there are certain aspects of it that they bounce off of. Killing off Vulcan and Varian ruined the game for you, Alhatch? Yeah, that's what I mean. I think like different things have happened in the game, and everybody reacts differently when something happens. When there's a big change to systems, when there's a big change to the story. When there's a big change to the environments, like I think that, you know, people are going to bounce off of it sometimes. And then their reaction is going to be, rightly so for them, they're going to feel this ruined the game. Which doesn't mean that it ruined the game for everybody. Whales are supporting Blizzard too. A lot of whales out there. If no one's gonna grab it, I'm gonna grab it. I've only got 2 of them. Loot Goblin, I'm not thinking I'll get any upgrades. I just want the kill XP. There's not a lot in here for me, I don't think. Even of the things that like can possibly drop, I'm just fighting something that other people are fighting in a different group. Tim, good evening. Thanks for being here. What do I think is more intriguing, adventuring into space or adventuring into the deep ocean? Probably space. Although, like, in one sense, not space, because in space you're never going to find anything alive. So in that sense, probably the oceans. In real life, if we're talking about real life and not fantasy. If we're talking about fantasy, then space. If we're talking about the real reality, then the oceans. Are we trying to look for the goblin with the port or something? Is that what we're doing? I don't know where he is. I'm just gonna blindly follow you guys around, and we can do whatever. Stompy, have a good sleep, man. Thanks for being here. The battle pet system ruined the game? Absolutely. Yeah, that was it. I think that was when we saw the most player drop off. I can't even get through it with a straight face. WoW has pet battles? What? No. What? No. Oh, you guys are like waiting for me. I'm not paying attention or grabbing anything. You guys can grab these. I'm not worried about it. If you need these, grab them. Don't hold them for me. It's fine. If you need them, grab them, and then I'll grab them someday, or I won't. It doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, it's Warcraft Pokemon. Like, what's not to like, you know? I've never done it myself, but I liked Pokemon a lot back in the day. Back in the Game Boy Color days, Pokemon was the bomb. I'd go through like 6 pairs of batteries, like playing all day long. You know, and then 35 years later, the Pokemon games are exactly the same and really haven't changed in many ways at all. So now I don't play Pokemon. Now my kid does. Now he plays Pokemon. He's having basically the same experiences that I had, like, but with slightly better graphics, because, you know, from the Game Boy Color to the Nintendo Switch, it's not that much of an improvement, really. So it's like slightly better graphics these days, but not like really not that much better. The quote, a turtle has reached the ocean. The mini game with the Tortellans ruined the game for David. See, everybody has their own thing. Sometimes you encounter something, you throw your hands up. You're like, nah, I'm done. They crossed the line with this one. I can't believe I'm saving turtles. Yeah, sometimes it could be anything, you know. What was my go-to first Pokemon? My go-to first Pokemon was Charmander until I realized the game was kind of structured to be really punishing on the fire type to begin with. And then I think I went back and rolled a Squirtle. Yeah, I think I went Squirtle for my first complete playthrough. But I tried Charmander first, but then like the first couple gyms were like much harder on the fire type than they were on the water or plant type. All I really need Pokemon to do is like, yeah, maybe one day being in 60 FPS would be good. But like what they really have to do, especially because like kids play the game, they gotta voice act the fucking game. Voice act the fucking game already. You have anime studios. Just voice act the game. Voice act the game. And don't say they can't do it because it's a Switch game, because what was the one tactical RPG? Fire Emblem is fully voice acted with so many voice lines. They have to voice act these stupid games. My kid's still learning to read, so like when he plays a Pokemon game, it became my job to like sit there and read all the dialogue out. And the dialogue isn't good. It's not well written, interesting dialogue. So I really wish they would figure out how to voice act the stupid games. So that the kids could just listen to the pointless dialogue and like nobody has to read it out loud. A chill Pokemon playthrough from nah. Never gonna happen. Nah. I will never play a Switch game on this channel. That will never happen. You're going removing personal loot ruin the game, see? Everybody's got something different. And like I said, the people's sentiment when they say that is that they mean it ruined the game for them, and they're not wrong. You can't be wrong. When you feel like a feature or a change or a thing ruined the game and that's what you feel, you can't be wrong. Now that doesn't apply, you can't apply it to everybody. But you also can't be wrong. You're entitled to have an opinion. You're just not entitled to apply that opinion to all aspects of everyone else's reality. Oh, dragon riding ruined the game. And for as many people that say like X ruined the game, there is another person that says, I love X. I want more of X. You know? The fact that they confirmed no pirate expansion ruined the game. Yeah, they did come out and say something, didn't they? They uncharacteristically got tired of all the Bellular videos and all of Taliesin's BS about predicting the expansion, and they pivoted. And they pivoted, like, you know what? We're not going to do that expansion. We're going to do the other expansion we have in the books, because these guys keep saying it's pirates, and everyone doesn't like pirates. And so yeah, they uncharacteristically said something to the effect of it wasn't going to be pirates. Which is weird, because they've never done that before. When people have theory crafted before, they've never come out and said, yeah, that's wrong, by the way, we're not doing that. They've never done that, so why in the hell would they do that? It's so weird, like, the things that they choose to communicate over the things that they choose not to communicate. It's so off sometimes. It's so off and weird sometimes. No, Auntie, not
None
having
can
Group Finder
stand
in Wrath
against the
ruined
Serpent
Wrath.
Lords.
So there you go. So you're already wrong. You tried to apply that to more than one person, and you were already wrong. Because for me, what ruined Wrath was not having looking for Group Finder. So there you go. And you could write a 5,000 word essay, and it still wouldn't change the fact that I'm right for me. Think about it. But don't write the essay, because I won't read it. No, I won't even look at it. They changed their mind on the pirate expansion when all that Johnny Depp drama was happening. Rome, I wouldn't put it past them. You know what I mean? A lot of times Blizz will have more than one expansion in development at the same time. Like, they worked on Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King together. They probably worked on like Dragonflight and Shadowlands together. And so oftentimes they'll have more than one expansion in the works. And that way they can kind of pivot and do what they want to do based on like player sentiment, the times, things like that. So yeah, they probably did have a pirate expansion in the works. It was probably stuff they couldn't figure out yet, like how to let players have their own ship. Because having your own ship kind of sounds like player housing in a way. And it also sounds like it'd be weird, you know? It'd be weird for everyone to have their own ship. I feel like that would never work the way the game is now. So yeah, they could have just pivoted. Wait, Blizz, listen to what people like or dislike. In the greater culture, I think they do. Not their own players. But just like in the greater culture of things and bullshit, they do, yeah. Yeah, WoW Sea of Thieves edition. Yeah. Yeah, they probably feel like maybe they have to wait for Sea of Thieves to die first. But Sea of Thieves is kind of like probably just going to always be around. I don't even know anybody that plays it, but it feels like it just kind of persists anyway. Yeah, and then it becomes World of Shipcraft, you know? Gear score ruined Wrath. Big true. That one, we can go ahead and apply that to everybody. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we found one we can all agree on. Yep. Now, who are you out there? Someone out there's like, oh, I love gear score. Gear score improved my experience so much. I finally knew the value of my gear. Before gear score, I couldn't read stats. Gear score is what taught me the value of my gear. Like, that person's out there too, though. That's the problem. Gear score, it finally let people see me for the worthiness that I am. Like, that person's out there, like, unfortunately. And they have that opinion and we can't take it from them. How long has the in-game time passed since the vanilla to the current expansion? Like 3 years, basically. Like 3 years have gone by, I think. No, they're really bad at saying or committing to or having time pass in any meaningful way. Yeah, there was a formula at one point for like how much time it was between expansions, but it was never really right, and I don't think it was ever really consistent. So yeah, as far as like how much actual world time passed, like basically none. A couple of weeks probably, I'd say. It tell you how others value your gear, Eric. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but people have always judged people's gear. Gear score just made it easier. I remember in like an original Burning Crusade, I got kicked out of a Heroic Magister's Terrace run once because I had a single green item on, and someone was like, "Greens aren't gonna cut it here, kid," and they booted me from the run. My friend was still in the run, my real life friend of years and years and years, he was still in the run, and he didn't leave the group when I got kicked, he stayed in the run. And then I quit the game for a while. That was at the tail end of BC. I quit the game for a while, and I came back when Wrath launched. But yeah, someone looked at my gear, and they were like, we wiped once, and they were like, oh, you got a green trinket? Greens aren't gonna cut it here, kid. That's exactly what they said to me. I was like 20, so that was kind of rude. They were probably like 12 years old. And then I quit the game for a while after that happened. Partially because what a stupid reason to kick somebody. Secondly, because my friend didn't leave the group. He stayed in the run and finished it. He was like, sorry, bro. Like, oh, okay. Zero loyalty. Oh yeah, no. There was the game, and there was the game. There was nothing else. At that point in his life, there was nothing else. It was not It was not very uncharacteristic of him for that to have happened. But it did cause me to stop playing the game for a few months, and then I came back when Wrath launched. I was a warrior. Yeah, I was a warrior tank. So yeah, I had just learned to tank. I just got everything I needed, you know, to do Magister's Terrace. I had a green trinket. Like, it's true. I had a green trinket on. Yeah. We wiped one time. Dude looked at my gear and kicked me immediately. Heroic Magister's Terrace. Yep. Still to this day, I've never completed Heroic Magister's Terrace. I almost got to the point where I could do it in TBC Classic, but then they gave up on TBC Classic, and they announced Wrath of the Lich King, and then everyone stopped doing Heroics in TBC Classic. So I never got to redeem myself on the Warrior. I got the Warrior ready, thought I was going to finally get to complete Heroic Magister's Terrace, and I never got to do it. I never got there. It does. It does. It still bothers me to this day. Yeah, what bothers me more is that I got my new warrior in TBC. I got him there. I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to do this. And then, like, as soon as I got to max level, they announced that they were going to launch Wrath a year early. As soon as I got to the level, I started getting my bold set together. And they were like, oh, hey, Shadowlands is in the toilet and everyone hates us, but you love Wrath of the Lich King, don't you, kids? And then nobody was doing Heroics anymore because they were all just waiting for Wrath to come out. And I never finished putting my bold set together. And I never got to do Heroic Magister's Terrace or Karasan. So yeah, yep. So I have to wait for TBC Classic to come out in 40 more years. And in 40 more years I'll have another shot at it, you know? Now, the way they're going, it'll be like 20 more years. In 20 more years... Oh no. Jael dead at level 16. Dreadmist Den slain by a burning blade acolyte. Fs. Oh. Yeah, TBC Hardcore. Yeah, they won't because it'd be too cool, you know. It's like you think of something that'd be really cool, and you can then guarantee that they won't do it. So try not to think of any cool shit, because like the more cool shit you think of, the more it kind of guarantees that it's not going to happen. He's talking smack. Drop it now. That's what happened when I was complaining about the respawns on the name guys. I was like, they need to drop every 10 seconds. The name guy should spawn every 10 seconds. I don't know why they're not spawning every 10 seconds. And then the next day they were spawning every 10 seconds. So yeah, I mean, someone is obviously like listening super hard to everything I say. Yeah, someone at Blizzard is here right now, just like really keyed in to how the community feels about things. They're listening right now, and they care a lot about what we say and think. See what I did there? Oh no! I was muted for the zone hopping. I explained zone hopping and it was super articulate. It was super articulate and well thought out. And I muted myself. Damn it. Yeah. The ante got him. Yeah, that's basically what I said. Yeah. I explained zone hopping. Yeah, you gotta go to Lochmadon. Big true. Big true. For people like new to Classic, I mean, zone hopping is a concept that's probably hard to like understand. If you're just like kind of new to Classic, even if you're kind of familiar with WoW, I guess being familiar with WoW would help a little bit. But if you never played anything in Classic era, the idea of having to like travel a long distance to get to another race's starting zones so that you can not feel super weak, like that's probably like a strange concept to some people. Because like nothing in the game is ever going to guide you to do that. Obviously, it's just something that you have to do. Yeah, that's true. There are some breadcrumbs that will take you there. Yeah, there's one in Stormwind that'll take you to Lochmadon. But then you got to figure out how to get there. And you don't always get those quests in a timely manner. Shadow, you be scared to run dungeons? It's a guild group though. You gotta trust your guildies. You just gotta trust your guildies and trust yourself and just, you know, go slow. I don't care about the chest. Any of you guys can pop it, that's fine. Usually just junk in it. Oh, that would have the swiftness potion recipe. That's cool. Do I want the formula? If anybody else has alchemy, I'd rather someone else have it. Because I have not been super diligent with leveling up my alchemy, so if any of you guys have alchemy, or if anybody else wants it, I would rather it go to someone who is for sure going to be dedicated to leveling their alchemy up. Because I have not been very diligent recently. And all my mats are sitting on my bank alt, and I need to reject them back to this guy to like do it all, but I haven't done it yet. So, yeah. I haven't done it. I'd rather someone else take it. Yeah, I mean, mine's 93. I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, I want to level alchemy. I just haven't been. I worry about my diligence with professions. I worry about it. But I'll take it, and we'll go from there. Because I can learn it right now, so. Okay, there we go. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. I'm going to send some stuff back from my bank alt later today, and actually spend some time leveling alchemy up a bit. As I have a bunch of mats. I just haven't put any time into it. Save the large fangs and the minor healing potions. I've been saving most of the minor healing potions and also sending them to the bank vault. Large fangs I'll have to keep an eye out for. If I've had any of those, I've probably been vendoring them. Oh, do I have cleave yet? I thought maybe I had cleave. Did I just never learned to cleave? Is that what happened? Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to have cleave by now. But apparently I don't. Loot Goblin, is it raining for me in real life? Maybe. It's cloudy outside today, and so my lighting is a bit darker, I guess. I just now noticed that my lighting got really dark in here. Which is fine. I like it to kind of be dark, that way it doesn't like clash so much with what's going on like in the game. But yeah, I'm having a cloudy day. The temperature is finally gonna like relax a bit. It was like almost 100 yesterday. And today it's only gonna be like 80 something, and then tomorrow it's gonna be much, much cooler. I think we're supposed to get like some rain coming through though. I didn't have enough money yesterday to train. Oh, that's right, because I mailed that gold off to the bank vault. I remember now. I do need to loot. I got a lot of loot back there on the ground. Thanks, Tactical. Yeah, Joshua, that's what we're gonna have here tomorrow. Like today is gonna be 80 something, like 82, with a lot of humidity, and then the front's gonna come through. The humidity is gonna go away, and then tomorrow's high is gonna be like 72. And then it's gonna be like 68, 70. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I think that summer in Michigan is over. I'm pretty sure it's finally over after today. And thank God, because it's been pretty miserable. I know a lot of you guys have it much worse. But one of the things about living in Michigan is like it's not supposed to be this hot in September. Like that's one of the only benefits of living here, is that it's not supposed to be hot in September. So getting multiple 90-degree days in September is like a huge slap in the face. Because that's the only benefit of living in this state. And it's cheap. Yeah, Kalamazoo, we're gonna get some of them, but where I'm at, it's gonna be very sporadic. I have like a 1 hour period coming up where we might get some rain, but I think a lot of the front broke up. As it kind of came across like the area. Like I'm in the Auburn Hills area, so like I'm not supposed to get a lot of bad weather, but we'll see. You know, the last time I thought just a little rainstorm was coming through, it flooded my street and flooded my basement in the course of a single hour. So we'll see. Yeah, anything could happen at this point. I got the shop vac ready in case. Oh, this guy's worth a chunk of XP as well. I didn't realize that he was worth a huge chunk of XP. Nice. Yeah, after the last time it rained and it managed to flood my street and flood my basement so quickly, I am kind of like, I have like PTSD about rain. Ideally, I don't want it to rain at all now, even though I know like that was a fluke. It was like a one-off. Like the sewer system here in my neighborhood got backed up. It didn't drain. It wasn't draining, and so like the entire street flooded. I was pushing cars through the water that got stuck in the water, and the water was up to my mid-hip. It was my mid-hip, and I'm 6'4", so I'm not short. I've never been standing in a street with water up to my mid-hip. It was crazy. And it wasn't my part of the street, it was like a little bit down the street because we're like up on a little bit of a hill. But yeah, by the time I got done helping cars out and got back to my place, the basement had also flooded. With like 2 inches of standing water. We got to shop evac all that out and like carry it outside. Where we then dumped it back in the backyard where it probably went and flooded somebody else's basement, because what else is it gonna do? It was a bad time. From 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. just like dealing with water. That's what happens when you fill in a lake, yeah. When the lake gets over full, these things can happen. Oh, Mark, no, this was weeks ago that this happened to me. This was a few weeks ago. Oh, it was the night of hardcore launch. It was official hardcore launch night. I ended the stream at like 9:30, and by 10:30 my basement was flooded. Yeah, had I stayed on stream, like I would have looked behind me and there would just be water rising around my feet. Yeah. It was hardcore launch night. It's hilarious. Never has one night been so good and so bad for me at the same time. It was like bipolar the night. We had an amazing stream. Highest concurrent number of viewers I've ever had on the channel. And then my street and basement flooded hours later. It was nuts. Clint, good afternoon, man. Your druid fell earlier this morning. I am not happy to hear that. What's next? Are you going to stick with the druid, or do you think you'll do something different? Joshua, the sub pump broke and sprayed water. Yeah, that happened to one of my neighbors. Yeah, that exact thing. The sub pump, the pump that's supposed to help pump water out, broke and then shot water back into their house. Yeah. Scumbag sub pump. Supposed to deal with water, sprays water into your home instead. Ah, yeah, the 1 to 10 grind on the druid, the most awful leveling bracket for any class in the game. Yeah, I remember the pain. It was the only character that I almost just like completely gave up on and stopped leveling just because I was so bored with it. It was so bad. Once you get past the 1 to 10, like just having the ability to auto attack on the bear was like such a relief. You're like, oh my god, I don't have to drink after every pull. What is this madness? Yeah. I would say you might owe it to yourself to do something a little bit more fast-paced. Mark, I saw the essay. I did see that. I had a little chuckle. Yeah, the warrior is going to be like what you like about the bear, but better. That's also what happens once you're on a druid for a little while. You're kind of like, well, this is good now, but I mean, I could just be a warrior. Or you're on the cat and you're like, well, this is good now, but I could just be a rogue. That kind of happens sometimes to some people on the druid, I think. Greyfang, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the heals, man. Yeah, I hear you. Being able to rejuve and regrowth yourself and then go into a fight, it just feels good. Yeah. It just feels really good to be able to toss some hots on yourself and go into a fight, knowing that, like, for that fight, you're basically invincible. And nobody else can really do that. It's true. But the downside is, like, then you gotta stare at a bear's ass for 300 hours. Which, unless that's somebody's thing, I mean, it could get tired. I like looking at my character's gear and stuff. But yeah, the heals are kind of irreplaceable. Spin a wheel? Yeah. Yeah, Austin, that's not a bad idea. If you've already done everything, like, you spin a wheel, see what it lands on. Sometimes on Bloodsail Buccaneers, I would do a poll to see, like, what people wanted me to play. And sometimes I'd even follow what the poll said. Yeah, Victoria, healing is a thankless job, and like healing, especially in hardcore, like unless you're in a guild run, there's always going to be somebody who is going to blame the healer. It's just like, it's inevitable that like if you're pugging spots and you're trying to do pugs, like in any version of the game, but especially in hardcore, everything is always going to be the healer's fault. It's like, it's horrible, but it's like, it's the way people's mentality is like, oh, somebody died, the healer did not do their job. Well, no, what about the fact that the tank pulled 7 extra things and the DPS wasn't paying attention? What about, no one cares about that. They see somebody went down and they're like, they're so quick to blame the healer. Especially when it was their fault, they want to blame the healer quickly. So no one really thinks about like what happened with the pull, you know? Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm retired from healing. I healed for like most of my WoW career. And I'm never gonna do it again. It's just kind of it's a thankless job, and it's hard as hell, and people will blame you. Yeah, hardly ever will someone look at your performance as a DPS and like really have a problem. Like you're not going to get blamed for a wipe as a DPS class, basically. Like it would be really hard to be blamed unless you're pulling for the tank and you overpull. It's really hard as a DPS class to like be in a position to cause a wipe. Yeah, when I was healing for my guild and we were raiding, I enjoyed it. You know, because no one was going to outright blame me if anything went wrong. It was just, you know, we wipe, we try again. We wipe, we try again. It's not any one person's fault. So I feel like when you're in a guild setting, like, it can be fine. It's just especially bad when you're trying to pug it. You know, when you're out there on your own, like so many WoW players are. Austin, you got your warrior killed watching YouTube? Rip, brother. That's not good. It's not good. Yes, Kalamazoo, you would draw much hate for doing that. I can see I can see how that would cause a problem for people. Yeah. You left your pet unaggressive, it would pull every mob in the dungeon. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would not be something that people would be fond of. Yeah, Victoria, if you come heal for this guild, like no one's gonna like flame you if something goes wrong. We're just all gonna do the best we can. That's all. I won't tolerate any like player bashing or flaming of healers. It's already hard enough to like get people to try to heal. There's just as much responsibility on the tank to pull carefully and on DPS to like not improperly pull and not accidentally pull. Like a lot of it is like in Classic especially, like it's a team effort because like the tank has to pull carefully and the DPS have to be careful not to pull adds. They have to kind of like focus fire on like lowest health. So there's lots of stuff going on and it's everybody's responsibility to make sure that the pull works out. And in Classic, there's not as much like spike damage. If the pull is normal, as you can see, like there's not as much spike damage going out. The only time like that spike damage happens is if the tank or the DPS have effed up. And it's very visible in Classic when the tank or the DPS F up. You'll see it right away. You'll see too many guys coming, you know, it's like somebody overpulled, somebody messed up. You'll see it. And it'll be obvious at that point that it's not a healer issue. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Clint has it right. Yes, unlike in retail where the damage is incredibly spiky and nuts. Yeah, exactly. Even in Wrath of the Lich King with the Heroic ++ stuff, the damage gets really spiky and crazy, and sometimes somebody just dies. Sometimes they just go down, and sometimes it's a wipe, sometimes it's not, but people die because the damage is so incredibly spiky and unpredictable. In Classic Era, when you're pulling normally, you don't really have that same thing happening. In Classic Era, it is more about the whole group managing the pull together than it is about, like, the healer being responsible to, like, uptick people from spike damage. Yeah, and the priest is a really fun class to level up. I miss my priest. You know, now that we have a good guild, like, I wouldn't mind healing, but I know that with me, what's going to happen is I'm going to get distracted. That's another reason for me not to heal anymore. Is like, honestly, like, as a healer, like, I'm going to get distracted talking to chat, and I just know that's going to happen one day. Or I have to play in such a way that when I do a dungeon, I can't interact with you guys at all. I have to, like, solely focus up on healing. So that's why, like, so in a guild I wouldn't mind it, but, like, it's just like for, like, what I'm doing, I feel like it wouldn't be responsible of me to tank or heal because of all the other things that might distract me. Yeah, healing while streaming on hardcore, questionable, and I've done it. I've done it, but I don't think it'd be super responsible for me to do. It's much better that I just slap things with a weapon. And all I have to pay attention to is not accidentally pulling ads. A healer in the recorded stuff? Yeah, but if I'm doing the recorded stuff, like for the Alliance side recorded stuff, like I don't have a guild over there. If I do runs on the Alliance side right now, I have to pug it. And that's a set. If any of you guys want to get a hardcore Ramblers guild started on Defias Pillager and invite my rogue, that would be okay. It's so hard to, like, think about having two different guilds on two different factions. Yeah, I don't have a guild over there right now. Yep. I'm sure some of you guys have characters over on Defias Pillagers. But yeah, right now we don't have a guild, and I know it's work to get it going and to get all, like, the ranks and stuff sorted out. Yeah, I see quite a few of you guys have characters on that side. If we have a guild over there, though, then I'm going to want to stream it, too. Then I'm going to have two characters I want to stream. Do you get a free respec in hardcore? I think your first respec is still free, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure your first respec is free. Or it's really cheap. It's either free or it's, like, inconsequentially cheap. And then after that it's gold, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It keeps going up. It's 1 gold. Okay, for some reason I thought maybe the first one was only, like, a couple silver or something. Apparently it's not inconsequentially cheap. It's just, it's semi-affordable. Raphael, how is it on the US servers? Are the factions balanced? I don't know. I haven't checked Warcraft Tavern to check the numbers of the faction balance. It seems like overall more people are playing on Defias Pillager. I only say that because the population is always listed as full, whereas the Skull Rock population is always listed as high. But I don't know what the faction balance is. We had originally speculated that most Horde players would go on Skull Rock and most Alliance would go on Defias Pillager. But I haven't checked my website that I checked for a couple days to see. Maybe they have numbers by now. Maybe somewhere out there on the internet, there are some numbers about the faction balance on either hardcore servers. It probably exists by now. Winnie, Alliance feels 3 times bigger on Defias Pillagers. You have a 26 Horde Hunter and a 20 Ally Druid. So maybe I was basically right. Maybe most people went Alliance on Defias Pillager. That would explain why the population is higher there, because I think in Classic more people play Alliance, obviously. So that would make sense as why it's always like a full-size server over there, because people on Alliance are over there. I still think there are people that play Alliance on Skull Rock. But I feel like I feel like it might be 60-40. You know what I mean? I think Skull Rock is probably 60-40 Horde, and I feel like Defias Pillager with a bigger population is probably 60-40 or 70-30 Alliance. Yep, 60-40 I bet. That was a chunk of XP. Shadow, if I had to pick one, Dragonflight or Wrath, I'd have to pick Wrath, but I still wouldn't be super happy if those were my only choices. It still wouldn't make me super happy. I'd rather pick Classic era Classic. I think right now a lot of people are playing hardcore, although like the way they have connected all of the Classic Era realms, they've kind of connected them all together, so no matter where you play Classic Era, when you're playing non-hardcore, it still feels like it's busy because they've created what are basically mega servers out of combining like all of the normal servers. So like the PvE servers are clustered together, the PvP servers are clustered together. And so even if a specific server is not like a super high population, you're always going to have people to play with in the regular classic era realms. And there are lots of people doing that right now. I think a lot of people who come to hardcore and they like it doesn't work out in hardcore, a lot of them are probably going and just playing regular classic era. Especially with the free, you can take the free server transfer and move your hardcore character to a normal cluster. And then you can continue it there. I think some people do that. Yeah, I think it's totally worth it. If you get a character up to a decent level, like level 20 or something, then I would say, yeah, definitely just transfer him off. Just in case, you know, you get the itch to go back to the character, you don't have to worry about it. It's there. It's there and waiting. Especially if you put time into like professions and stuff like that. It makes the character transfer super valuable when you invest a lot of time on professions and other things. It'll be especially valuable for those characters who get killed in like the 40s, the 50s. You know, it won't be a total waste. At least you'll have a place where you can still play that character. That's a bad fear. Oh, I'm glad there's a sheep here. That's actually really good. I thought I was going to run right at that guy and aggro him. If I focused up and I actually tried to look for those things on the ground, I could probably finish the quest. We've got some people here. Maybe we line of sight them. Maybe we line of sight that last one. Yeah, I think we should line of sight that last one. Or they'll just transform into a snake and they'll run at us. Okay. Yeah, them transforming into a snake works too. Absolutely. We might want to line of sight this guy. The sheep. No? Okay. I worry about these guys, but it looks like we're fine. Well, that sheep broke fast. Could have been a bad fear if we had gone this way. Could have been a bad fear. The sheep may have broke walking itself into the fire. That's hilarious. I hope so. Yeah, it is very labyrinthine. I don't know my way through. My way through would be to just fight everything that is alive. And the way I would know I was going the right way is if there were living enemies, then I would be going the right way. Because other than that, like, I have no idea how to navigate this place. Follow the mushroom path. It sounds like a children's story, where like you get lured into the woods by the evil witch. Just follow the mushroom path, kiddies. Sounds bad. Vincent, it's going well. Thanks for checking out the stream. Kenneth, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. Mark, you feel like the Alliance gets the bad end of the deal in terms of dungeons and ease of access? Yeah, they do, because it's almost impossible to get to Scarlet Monastery. It's hard to get to Wailing Caverns. Yeah, I think that like that's kind of one of the reasons we went Horde side first. Is because they can get to dungeons like a lot easier, especially the ones that matter, like SFK and Scarlet Monastery. It's like really hard to get alliance groups to those, especially in a world where like everybody has to do the run, where it's not just two people got to get there and summon. Yeah, the alliance kind of kind of get the short end of the stick on some of the dungeons. Especially Scarlet Monastery is so punishing because it's so many dungeons. It's 4 different dungeons, and like it's challenging to get out there. More so in hardcore, where like you can't risk it by getting the Chillwind, the flight point in Chillwind Camp in the Plaguelands. Like in normal classic era, yeah, sure, you run your guy to Chillwind Camp. If you die, you die. Not a big deal. But you can't take that same approach in hardcore. So, yeah. I'll try to stand close enough to actually hit this guy this time around. Any good upgrades? Alex sent us some good stuff. We've got a better chest piece. We've got better gloves. We've got better legs. I got this off the auction house, the Prospector Axe, which is pretty good. Not anything from like a dungeon drop. No, we're not really doing dungeons yet that are going to drop a lot of really amazing gear. Every once in a while, a blue drops, you know, but for the most part, just greens. But I've got some pretty good gear from other sources. I need one more of these items after this, and I can actually complete the quest. Will we find one more? I could probably find one outside if I don't find it in here. But I kind of want to hearth out. I don't really want to run out. Oh god, another jump. Okay, we did it. Nice sheep. That was much needed. There it is. There's our last item.
Serpent King. I can do anything.
Oh man. Oh good, I got out of the sleep. Oh, that was awesome. I thought I was going to be asleep for the whole fight. It's like a 15-second sleep usually. A blue bow and not a hunter to be found. Oh dear. Of course the only blue that drops is for a class that's not in the run. There's not even stats on it to make it really valuable for a warrior. Oh dear. Nice. And the Intellect Spirit Shield. Alright. Good. Yeah, I mean, definitely take it. If it's an upgrade in any way, yeah, take it. It's awesome. I like it when people need on blues. Yeah, Blood Fury would probably be a good thing to have out somewhere on the bar, wouldn't it? Absolutely. I think on the first warrior I had it out and then I never pulled it back out on the second warrior. We still have the event to clear. Did I put any bets on what level I'll reach? No, no. No, if I do that it'll jinx it. I don't usually bet on things. Nope. In the moment I do say like a certain level, we'll probably die before that. When I talk about how long I'm gonna live, I just say that the character's gonna live forever. Yeah, we need to get back to the beginning to talk to the guy to start the last event. And how we get back to the beginning is anyone's guess, because I don't know. Joel, come on, man. I mean, I get it, but come on, man. The Paladin is actually F-tier DPS. So, if we're talking about DPS, then the Paladin is a shadow of the Warrior. But as far as survivability goes, it's like S-tier survivability coupled with F-tier DPS. It's a tough one. I have felt drawn back to the Paladin, even though I know that the damage is like the worst damage in the game. I don't know why. Are we lost in the Wailing Caverns? Are we hearthing out of the Wailing Caverns? I love the fantasy of the Paladin class, but after getting 1 to 47 in solo self-found and never having a good weapon and having every fight just be dragged out for eternity, I got really like just worn out from it. We'll get out of here someday. We lost somebody. Oh no. We've split the party in so many ways. Are we hearthing out of here, guys? Oh, Cadus was looking at chat. Can't look at chat. That's my job. Only I can fall in a hole while looking at chat. Damn it. Oh, we got respawns at the beginning. They almost got Singali. What do we want to do here? What do we want to do here? Oh, every way we've gone is the wrong way to get out, I think. Well, we'd get there eventually. It's if you hug the left wall or something, you'll get there eventually, no matter what. It's not like we can open up a map and figure it out, you know? Yeah, we got enemies over here. Yeah, so this is where, yeah, okay, we can, oh no. Okay. I don't know if we're sneaking through this. Yeah, it feels like we're probably not sneaking through this. Carnifexy, a good evening to you. Thanks for checking out the stream. Dave, for newbies that want to try out hardcore, I would probably recommend a priest. Because the priest has power word shield, which negates damage, it has heals. If you get a good wand, you can deal quite a bit of wand damage outside of your spell damage. And relying on the wand can help you keep your mana going longer, so you can fight from pull to pull without having to stop to regain mana. I would recommend priest. For people who are like just kind of like noobish, noob adjacent. Paladin's good too. Paladin's like less damage, but like a lot of survivability. Heavy armor. You get a lot of bubbles that are kind of like on a cooldown, but that can get you out of a lot of trouble if you get into trouble. Are warlocks good? Some people like warlocks, some people say that they're the like least likely class to live. They have a pet that can tank a lot. I think warlocks can get overconfident because the pet is beefy and the dots do a lot of damage, and sometimes I think warlocks can get themselves in over their head. That's how I got warlocks killed on Bloodsup Buccaneers. Was just getting too overconfident and just getting in over my head. Mike, you hit level 20 on your pally? That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like if I had been running that pally here, it would have went all the way because we'd have been able to buy weapons off the auction house during like times when I wasn't getting weapons. If we were able to do dungeons, we'd be able to farm Scarlet Monastery. Yeah, I feel like the paladin would do much better in Blizzard's version of hardcore than it did in solo self-found. Because in solo self-found, we never found, so it was hard. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Oof, ouf, big oof. I don't like that. Let me heal up. This looks close to the entrance. I recognize this. So that's good. And yeah, we do have respawns back here, don't we? Well, we took the scenic route, but we finally got here, and that's what matters.
Greetings, traveler. The winds guide you. I've been expecting you. What brings you here? Peace, friend.
Yep, I think, does everybody have the buff? Looks like it.
The winds guide you.
Carnifexia, how do I deal with key binding? I deal with key binding with this. This is the Logitech G600 MMO gaming mouse. And so the only buttons I hit on the keyboard, I hit 1 through 4, and that's it. Everything else I've bound to my function keys, which I've bound to my mouse. And I can hit 6 of these buttons super easily by barely moving my thumb at all. So yeah, F1 through F6, I'm hitting those all on my mouse. And it's super easy, and it changed my entire life when it comes to playing MMOs. Because on my upper row, I can only hit tilde through 4. And even stretching to 5 was always kind of a pain for me. My fingers aren't very like versatile. Yeah, they don't have a lot of versatility or dexterity, so I was always very hampered with the buttons that I was able to press without looking at them. Having an actual mouse with a handful of side buttons on it that you can hit easily with your thumb is a must-have for this game. It's a must-have for any MMO. But yeah, Logitech G600. Do I sometimes press the wrong button? Not with my thumb. I press the wrong button more. I've been pressing R accidentally with my keyboard, trying to hit T. I go for T to attack. I've been hitting R. But with the thumb buttons, no. I don't misclick on the thumb buttons. I misclick often with my actual keyboard, mainly between T and R. I've been hitting my potions when I mean to attack. I'm much worse with the keyboard hand than I am with the mouse hand. Yeah, it's super easy to hit these keys. The way that they're kind of angled makes it like very intuitive. You know which key you're hitting. And like I said, I can use 6 of them very easily. The back row of the other 6, those are harder. So I wouldn't use all 12. But the first 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really simple to hit. It feels natural to your brain basically immediately. And I would really very much recommend it to anybody struggling and using a standard mouse. Failing a Logitech G600, at least get something with 3 or 4 buttons that you can hit with your thumb. You might not need all 12, you might not need 6. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's the only mouse that I'll ever use. And I've had it for 5 or 6 years and I've had 0 problems with it. Yeah, it's so amazing, isn't it? Yep. Yep, I'd recommend it to everybody who plays Classic. Especially if you're currently playing on a standard mouse. Like, you are hampering your enjoyment of the game so much by trying to play this game on just the keyboard with a normal mouse. Even if you have 2 side buttons on your mouse, I'd still say that you're hampering your enjoyment a lot. And then if you move to something like the Logitech G600, or I know like Razer has a couple of good MMO mice, if you move to a better mouse, you will enjoy this game so much more. You will enjoy every class you play so much more. It really changed like how I felt. Like the rotations used to be like tedious. I never felt like I was good at it. And like getting a better mouse changed everything, as Bellular would say. It really did change everything. Do I get a commission for them? No. Those are just my honest feelings. No, it's not a sponsored stream. It's not a sponsored stream. It is one of the few products I could like, you know, talk about like honestly, but they're not going to sponsor me. It's Logitech. It's Logitech and I'm nobody. So, I just want people to like have the equipment they need to enjoy WoW. Like what I'm really advocating for is people's enjoyment of this genre, and you really need an MMO mouse to like enjoy the genre, in my opinion. Yeah, this mouse is super easy to use. Like I said, I bound it to my function keys so that like I can hit them on the keyboard too if I want, but I don't. I usually hit them on the mouse. It's really, really easy. I'm not smart, and I'm not really like a great player of video games, and if I was able to learn to use this mouse immediately, I'm convinced that anybody could buy this mouse, set it up, and they could use it as well as me, if not better. Absolutely. Yeah, and see, I hate macros, and that's why like I needed this mouse, because like I can't write macros, I don't like macros, but I love having the 6 buttons that are just super easy to hit, additional to the 4 buttons I can press on the keyboard. What resolution screen do I play? I play in 1080 by 1920. I don't have a high-res monitor. I upscale my resolution in the game, and then I publish the content at 1440 so that it looks crisp and sharp. But I just play on a normal 1080 monitor. All I really care about my monitors is that they're fairly large and that they're both the same monitor. And besides that, I've never really cared about like actually playing in a higher resolution. I upscale the resolution, which I probably can't find here. Yeah, I upscale it like this so it has more pixels basically. And then I publish the videos and I stream in 1440 so that you don't get like pixel shredding and stuff in dark areas when I move the camera. And I have a high bitrate. For the streams I do a 20 megabit bitrate, and for the recorded stuff it's 50. I don't do macros. The only time I'll do a macro is on like if I have a pet class, I'll macro the pet attack to one of my abilities and that's it. So for me they're not a must. I've played for 20 years without them. Now granted, there's lots of people on the internet that would just say I'm a trash player, so take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody's different. What works for one person might not work for everyone else, etc. Yeah, I mean, if the end result is success, then it doesn't matter. I mean, I remember when back in the day when I used to click my abilities, and my friend would tell me, you can't keep doing that. And I was like, why not? It's working. And eventually I realized that I couldn't keep doing it. And eventually I stopped clicking my abilities. But for a long time, that's how I learned to play. And I still enjoyed the game, and I was still able to kill stuff. Sometimes I click cooldowns still. Because some of them, they're shift clicks right now, and if I don't feel like doing the shift click, I'll just click it.
I am awake.
That was 3,200 experience for this guy. Oh my god. Stam Intellect Spirit Ring. Go, 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 casters. Fortified Chain of the Bear. I don't want to give up the Force Spirit, so I'm not going to take it. I don't want to give up the Spirit. Thank you guys so much. That was an awesome run. I really enjoyed it, and we're level 23 now, and that's awesome. Overpowered? No, not really. Maybe more points in deflection would be okay. Do we want to hearth out of here, or what do we want to do? I'm kind of all about hearthing out and turning the stuff in later. I know we have a couple to turn in, like, outside the instance. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hearth out. Thank you guys so much for the run. I really appreciate it. Everybody did awesome. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'd have got us much more lost if I were leading us. I couldn't lead us out of here either, Alex. I didn't know the way. I had no idea.
I've been
Good
expecting
times.
you.
I'll probably do the dungeon one more time tomorrow. The cutoff for it is level 24, so I'll probably do it one more time tomorrow, and that'll be the last time that we do it, I think. I should probably send some of this decent stuff off to my bank alt. Probably. Maybe even some of the linen cloth could go to the bank alt. That would be a good idea. Oh yeah, I need to complete Deviant. Maybe tomorrow I'll complete Deviant Heights. we're close, but we didn't quite get there. But it was a close one.
Walk with the earth.
Cadus, you did all of that while working. I'm telling your boss. I am telling your boss. You're in trouble, mister. That's good though. That's probably the best use of your time, you know. Let's mail this. Let's mail this stuff. Anything else? Not really. Earthroot, I guess. Oh, we have too much gold on this character now. I think I'll also I'll send 1 gold over. There we go. And so yeah, that's a bunch of stuff to turn in. Some of it turns in down at the dungeon. Some of it turns in over in Ratchet. We'll have to get that done at some point. I guess I could just run and do that now. It would be an okay use of time. Let's fly to Ratchet first. We'll do it that way, and then we'll run back to the dungeon entrance. Red Bass, I appreciate that. Thanks for being here.
Loktar. Down.
Definitely, yeah, it was definitely longer. It was longer than an hour. It was like an hour and a half or something, right? Yeah, it can be a long one. Especially if you're going slow and pulling carefully. So, yeah. Good times. It is quite a bit of experience, you know what I mean? Like, it's worth it to do them as many times as you can in the level range. Because you do just get a ton of XP. I like how they put the XP on the bosses. I wasn't sure if I was going to dig that or not, or if they were going to mess it up somehow numerically. But it seems like they've got it in a pretty good spot. Where, like, you take down a boss and you get that big chunk of experience. It's almost more gratifying to get it as that big chunk of experience than to get it from the mobs, like, throughout the run, you know? It's been good. Is Starfield my kind of game? If so, what are my thoughts? I haven't played Starfield. I thought I was going to play some Starfield on the channel. Because I thought it was going to be really a Game Pass Day 1 release, but it wasn't. It wasn't Game Pass Day 1. It was Game Pass Day 8. And so I didn't realize they were doing pre-orders, and I didn't have my finger on the pulse of the game.
Keep it real.
I haven't played it. It seems like a Bethesda game. It seems like Fallout in space,
Hurry back.
which would normally be something I'd be into. I'm gonna play it on my Xbox in private when it comes out on the Xbox and the Game Pass, which might be today. I might be able to play it today. But I don't think I'm gonna put it on the channel at all. I got too many other things I want to do on the channel that are WoW related to do that. Yeah, if you don't pull everything and you just go kill the boss, yeah, you still get that chunk of XP. Never heard of a bigger deterrent in your life. It doesn't seem as buggy from what I heard as like a lot of Bethesda games, but yeah, it just seems like a Bethesda game. It seems pretty good, you know, if that's what you're into. I don't know, like, I don't know. I would be much more likely to play like an Elder Scrolls game than a game set in space. I guess if I have to pick between like space and medieval fantasy, I would probably go with medieval fantasy most of the time. But I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it out on the Xbox and just see if it's any fun just to play in my spare time. Mike, you watched Asmon's 15 Hours? Yeah. Did he enjoy it? He probably enjoyed it. I watched co-play for like a little bit. I watched like the first hour of it and it seemed okay. I didn't see anything like wrong with it. It seemed like it kind of ran like shit on his PC. And so that was a little bit daunting. That was another reason why I decided not to put it on the channel. It's like if it runs kind of like shit on Ko's PC, it's not going to run great on my PC at those settings. Now, unlike those guys, like I'm willing to turn my settings down a little bit. So it could have ran better with like some lower settings, I guess. But yeah. New Vegas was your favorite Bethesda game, but it wasn't actually developed by Bethesda. Yeah. What can you say? He had a problem with autosave. Oof. Why didn't I get a better chest from the last boss in Wailing Caverns? Why is Spirit good for a warrior? Spirit is good for just like regen, like passive health regen between fights. I'd rather keep the 4 Spirit overtaking the 1 stam and 1 strength, I guess. It's almost an even trade-off, you know? You don't necessarily need the Spirit, but it will benefit you. Like, Spirit benefits you a lot while leveling. So, like, you don't absolutely need it, but it's nice to have. And then, like, you know, the benefit of 1 more stam and 1 more strength, like, not really a big deal. That's all. Yeah, for first-person RPGs, I'm looking forward to Avowed. Avowed's not coming out until 2024, and that's not Bethesda. It's the other guys. Is it ZeniMax? No, Obsidian, right? Avowed is an Obsidian game. So I'm looking forward to that because like that seems to be more like medieval fantasy, kind of more like in my wheelhouse type of deal. More reminiscent of like Elder Scrolls. The space travel in Starfield's a bit disappointing. A bunch of checkpoints and cutscenes. Not really like free roam, you know, like No Man's Sky. When I look at the graphics for Starfield, I see like a washed out color palette of No Man's Sky. Whereas like No Man's Sky has like beautiful graphics and the color palettes are really like vibrant and unique. Anytime I look at anything for Starfield, it's like gray, brown, faded, washed out. Which isn't like super appealing to me. And like ultimately I'm more of a fantasy guy than a sci-fi guy, I think. That might be like more of what it boils down to. Doomrock, the guild is open for invites. If you put your character's name into chat, either myself or one of the officers should be able to send you an invite. Sorry, I missed you for a minute there. Martin, is there some good writing going on in Starfield, or is it all FedEx Quest? I don't know. From the little bit I saw of co-play, the writing seemed okay, and the voice acting seemed okay. But I feel like the main story can be beat pretty quickly. Co beat the main story really quick and then started a New Game Plus. Apparently a lot of cool features are in the New Game Plus, and I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't really know how I feel about incentivizing players to blow through the MSQ, which seems really short, by the way, just so they can get to the cool features in the New Game Plus. So that was kind of a weird turnoff for me.
What brings you here? Goddess watch over you.
What do I think of Ashes of Creation, Vincent? I think it's never going to come out. It's already been in development for 8 years, and it's not even in alpha yet. So when a game is in development hell for that long, there's basically zero chance that it ever gets released to the public. I feel like they have design creep. I feel like they have I feel like they've got themselves stuck in development hell. I think they've switched engines. They went from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. Really far along in their development, and I think that was a dumb idea. I think instead of switching from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 for super realistic graphics, I think they should have defined an art style for the game that was both visually appealing and unique to them. Instead, their game looks like New World with really shiny graphics. It looks like photorealism. The art itself doesn't really seem to have a soul, and I feel like they would have been much better served to keep their progress on the Unreal 4 engine and just make their artwork really unique. But instead they tore everything down to the studs and they went with Unreal 5. And I feel like that was probably the nail in the coffin for Ashes. They're trying to do some very cutting edge things, like having towns that grow and evolve over time. But yeah, they're not even in alpha, and they've been in development for eternity. And the game's never going to come out. And it's not going to come out, and the developers are not malicious about it. They want the game to come out, and they're trying to make a great game, but they don't have leadership in place to stop them from just continually bloating the game and doing more and more with it. At some point, especially when you're making an MMO, you have to call it quits. You have to define your systems, you have to define your game, and you have to make that game, and you have to release that game. And they don't seem capable of being comfortable ever releasing their game. And so I don't think we're ever going to get to play Ashes of Creation in the public. I would be surprised if they ever actually fully moved into an alpha phase, to be honest.
Ah, I have just the thing for you.
Anything else I can get rid of? Not really.
May the eternal sun.
Alright, guys, it's been fun. I've had a great time. Thank you to those that were in the dungeon. Thank you everybody for being here for the dungeon and for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate you. I'm going to take a break here for today. We will be back on tomorrow. Later this afternoon, I should be putting up the Paladin. See, I'm going to play a Paladin one day. The Rogue video will go up on the Alliance side, so if you're interested in our Alliance Rogue, keep your eyes open for that video to come out sometime later on this afternoon. And until next time, as always, take care of yourselves out there in the real world and take care of each other. And we will see you back in Azeroth again very soon. Bye for now.